The legal walls are closing in on Donald Trump, and he knows it, and he's terrified. Trump, being the coward that he is trying to find a way to get away from this trial. That being, of course, the trial in Washington, D.C. for election subversion. I'm going to read you a couple of passages from Politico.com's article, Alone in American History, Prosecutors Urge Judge to Deny Trump's Bid to Dismiss D.C. Charges. In new court documents, the special counsel articulated his clearest case yet for Trump's prosecution for election subversion. Special counsel Jack Smith argued Monday that Donald Trump's bid to subvert the 2020 election was far from the case, misplaced advocacy, or constitutional protected speech, and he urged the federal judge presiding over the case in Washington to sweep aside Trump's bid to sanitize his conduct. Now, this is coming from Assistant Special Counsel James Pierce. The defendant's attempt to rewrite the indictment, claiming that it charges him with wholly inconspicuous, perhaps even admirable conduct, sharing his opinions about election fraud and seeking election integrity, when in fact clearly describes the defendant's fraudulent use of knowingly false statements as weapons in furtherance of his criminal plans. Now, Jack Smith and his team gave a 79-page case about why this particular trial should go forward. Now, I'm going to read you only a couple of passages from the introduction of it, and they're very telling. Now, I've already read to you a part of it, but you'll get the rest in a few minutes. Now, we will be posting the link to this on the description below. The indictment charges the defendant, then the president, with perpetrating an unprecedented campaign of deceit to attack the very function of the federal government to collect, count, and certify votes, to obstruct the January 6th congressional proceeding at which the election results are certified, and to disenfranchise millions of voters, all in a concerted criminal effort to overturn the presidential election results and prevent the lawful transfer of power to his successor, that, of course, being President Biden. Because the defendant cannot mount meritorious challenges to the charges against him, his motions to dismiss the indictment are constitutionally and statutorily grounds rely instead on distortions and misinterpretations. The defendant attempts to rewrite the indictment, claiming that it charges him with wholly inescrupulous, perhaps even admirable conduct, sharing his opinions about election fraud and seeking election integrity, when in fact it clearly describes the defendant's fraudulent use of knowingly false statements as weapons in furtherance of his criminal plans. The defendant's motions cite cases that, upon examination, undermine his argument rather than support them. And he improperly challenges the government's anticipated trial evidence at this stage. The defendant also claims that he could not have known his actions were criminal because in the past, others who have questioned or challenged or protested election results were not prosecuted. But the defendant stands alone in American history for his alleged crimes. No other president has engaged in conspiracy and obstruction to overturn valid election results and illegitimately retain power. The indictment squarely challenged the defendant for this conduct, and the defendant's constitutional and statutory challenges are meritless. The defendant's motions should be denied. You're damn right they should. This entire argument from Donald Trump is meritless. Now, in the past, as Donald Trump actually said in his defense, other presidents have challenged election results. The first one, off the top of my head, was Al Gore challenging the election results when he lost to George Bush. Obviously, that election result stuck and the challengers failed. Al Gore, but here's where it differs. Al Gore lost the election. He didn't cry. He was angry about it. He cried about it, said that I didn't win. But he didn't tell people to go out and come to Washington, D.C. on January 6th at that time and challenge the results. And he didn't tell people to march on Washington and march on the Capitol. Donald Trump did. Donald Trump initiated the attack on Washington, D.C. at the United States Capitol. He did. And once the attack began, once police officers were being beaten, he did absolutely, positively nothing for 187 minutes. During that time, Trump tweeted that about Mike Pence, not to stop the riots, not to stop the attack, not to tell people to go home, not for people to respect police officers, but about Mike Pence, which initiated the chants of hang Mike Pence, hang Mike Pence, hang Mike Pence. You forgot about that? Here's the thing into that situation. Al Gore lost the election. He challenged the results in Florida. He lost those challenges. He rode off into the sunset. He walked away. Donald Trump challenged the election results. The challengers were done. And instead of walking away, he initiated plan after plan after plan, and all of those plans failed. When he tried to rig the results in Georgia by calling the Secretary of State down there, Brad Raffensperger, failed. He tried fake electors with Rudy Giuliani at the helm, failed, and got caught on both cases. And when all those failed, he called a mob of domestic terrorists in this country to try to overturn the election. Failed, failed, failed. That's 3 strikes, son. You're out. Now, he's trying to play the victim, saying that they're only prosecuting me because I had the gall to challenge the election. No, we're prosecuting you. The U.S. government is prosecuting you because you tried to steal an election and you incited an attack on the United States government. You tried to obstruct the duties of the United States government. That's why you're being prosecuted. Now, you can try this victim bullshit all you want, Trump, but that is the simple truth. Your attorneys are not doing you any kind of favors by not telling you that fact. Your attorneys are not doing you any favors by saying, okay, Donald, listen to me. You don't have any evidence to back up your claims. In fact, there's evidence that shows that you tried to steal the election. My advice to you, walk away. Take some sort of plea deal that helps you avoid prison time. But they won't do that. They exist in this alternate reality that everything that Donald Trump did at that point was correct. And quite honestly, it is incredibly dangerous. Trump knew that he broke the law. Trump knew that he crossed the line. In the end of the day, Trump knows he is finished. And now he is lashing out at everything, at everyone. Donald Trump could have easily walked away from this after his challenges after his challenges failed. But Donald Trump is not the type of person that says, I lost, I can do better next time. Donald Trump, in his mind, Donald Trump says, I lost and I'm not going to let them get away with it. Or more to the point, he'll just scream out like he did in both elections. The only way I lose is if it was rigged against me, if it was fixed against me. This whole defense that Donald Trump is trying to do is bullshit. And is trying to wiggle away from this trial is bullshit. Trump knew exactly what he was doing. He knew exactly that he broke the law. And he's trying to get away with the consequences as he always tries to. But now it's coming back to harm him. It's coming back to destroy him. So I urge Judge Churkin in Washington, D.C., deny the motion for Donald Trump to try to end his trial, to dismiss it. Because this isn't about the law for him. It's about him trying to shirk responsibility, as he has always done his entire miserable life. The man knew what he did was wrong. If he didn't know what he did was wrong, he wouldn't be pushing this motion, trying to say it's admirable, trying to say it's bravery, his brave conduct was admirable. It wasn't. Trump is trying to get away from the consequences of his actions. And he's been able to do that so long in his life. Don't let him do it now. This trial needs to happen. This trial needs a verdict of guilty. He needs to be held accountable, or the next time someone like Trump, if he wins 2024, or someone worse than him will take power, and the death of the United States of America will happen. The death of the law, the death of the Constitution, the death of this country will happen. And the man who pulled the trigger will always be Donald Trump. CTP, know the truth. God bless. Peace to the left, justice to the right.